Welcome back. Members of the Lloydminster and Maidstone Rural RCMP are gearing up for the regimental ball this spring. It's been over 10 years since the detachment has hosted a regimental ball. In attendance at this year's event will be key speaker MLA Tim McMillan, as well as the commanding officer of the Saskatchewan RCMP.
We wanted it to be as comfortable as possible, so once you have your ticket, you come in and enjoy yourself.
The ball isn't until April, but members of the police are getting the word out as all proceeds will go towards area SADD or SAD groups.
The more effective they are, the less concerned we need to be with the number of impaired drivers out there. So everything we can do to support them, we will do.
The regimental ball will take place at the Lashburn Community Hall on April 9th. Well, it may not look and feel like springtime yet, but soon the snow will melt and temperatures will rise, and with them, the allergies of people who are sensitive to what the disappearing snow will uncover. Shauna Roshuk tells us what the most common reactions are and how to find relief.
Canada has a climate where 4 seasons are distinctly different, and dealing with seasonal allergies are the norm for many. Symptoms of a reaction to snow mold are very similar to another common condition.
You could have a cold, you could have, rarely you can get a rash. Basically, you feel tired and the usual symptoms of a cold or a hypersensitivity.
As temperatures rise and the snow melts, this creates a perfect combination for growth of this type of mold on the ground, leaving allergy sufferers to deal with the aftermath.
The hypersensitivity to the mold that accumulates in spring following a good cold winter and then thawing off the snow.
Dr. Saeed says this allergy is very common. Being aware of when the weather changes to spring-like conditions is key in dealing with the symptoms.
Those who have already an allergic tendency, and some of course are spring allergies and some are, the allergies you get in the middle of summer.
The snow will eventually stop and melt, and dealing with the symptoms of this allergy is as easy as a trip to your local pharmacy.
A good example of the one that can cause drowsiness is Benadryl, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. And then the other ones, the non-drowsy, are your things like Claritin, Reactin, and Arius. And those are probably usually a better option just because they don't cause the drowsiness.
Agarwal also adds to be aware of some of the over-the-counter allergy medications, as they can become addictive. Shauna Roshuk, Newcap News.
The town of Lloydminster has a rich history that began with a group of hard-working people. Harsh weather and work conditions didn't discourage them from following their dreams of owning their own land after enduring a long and perilous journey from Britain. Tegan Wingfield has more on their story.
After a long and difficult journey from Britain, the original colonists finally arrived in what was soon to be called Lloydminster. But their trials were just beginning. Their first priority was to build shelter to protect them from the elements.
It was very much still winter here in the area. But many of them, lived in tents, soddies, rudimentary structures that they could create out on their homesteads.
Original bar colonist Alice Rendell wrote regular letters to friends and family back home describing their new life. It's bitter cold, and on hard ground we don't get much refreshing rest. The majority of people who came were not experienced with agriculture and were small business merchants. Many struggled with learning basic farming techniques.
A doctor that had set up, even at the camp in Saskatoon, he had set up on the edge of the camp, and some of his first visitors were people who had injuries from learning the art of chopping wood.
After surviving harsh winter conditions, the colonists began building their houses and plowing their fields, but summer brought prairie fires which threatened and often destroyed their homes. In spite of all their hardships, their dedication reaped rewards. Alice Rendell writes of her feelings of accomplishments. Here, one feels that each week's work is a step onward, whilst in the old country, a year's hard toil brought disappointment.
They had community spirit and everyone helped everyone. There was music and dances and so even though they had all these hardships, they managed to get through it because they had each other.
For more information on the bar colonists and their lives, you can go to the Lloydminster Archives or here at the Bar Colony Heritage Cultural Centre. Tegan Wingfield, Newcap News.
After today, there's just one more day of shooting left on the Hollywood movie being shot in Provost, Alberta. Yesterday, the town's rec center was locked down and many residents had another chance to become extras in the crowd scenes.
in action!
Did you see that
In the movie, the town of Provost has turned out for a Night of the Meteor celebration, a direct reference to the Buzzard Coulee meteor that actually fell in the area in 2008. People of all ages were needed to form the background, with some locals from around the region having slightly more substantial roles as a news team or police officers.
I had a good time as one of those childhood dreams kind of come true, so it was a lot of fun.
One local actress is getting her big screen debut after auditioning for a speaking role in the film. She was nervous but says everyone on set has been very supportive.
It's exciting and it's definitely a big learning experience. I've had a lot of fun with it, something to definitely remember for the rest of my life.
For the professional actors on the set, the residents' enthusiasm is contagious, and group shots work well because the people already all know each other.
So when asked to do the big scene as we did today, the big crowd scene in here with a big event happening, they were so comfortable in working with, like, speaking with each other that it was kind of natural.
For the crew members whose jobs include wrangling the extras, there's a lot of work to do. But having such motivated background players makes it easier and can actually contribute significantly to the creative process.
Everything comes together in a different way that you didn't imagine. You know, you start to see a shot one way and then, you know, a different kid walks by and you go, you know, they made their own t-shirts. I want that shot instead.
With the movie set to wrap this week, life should be returning to normal for the residents. But their willingness to take time from their jobs and keep their kids up late occasionally is a big part of what made the 3-week shoot a success.
They're right in there. They don't care that they have to sit around. They think it's fun just watching everybody work and you know, get their chance to be in front of the camera. And they're hoping that we all come back again. So, you know, I think everyone's leaving on a good note.
It was a classic case of art imitating life, as many residents of Provost came out to be in a movie about the town of Provost coming out to celebrate the opening of their new rec center. The SPCA have a comedy cabaret coming up at the Stockade Convention Center this summer. On this week's Pet Project, we learn more about that and meet 2 energetic puppies and a very playful cat.
Hi and welcome to this week's Pet Project. I'm at the Lloydminster and District SPCA with Jennifer, and who are these two?
This is Scrappy and Scruffy. They are 4-month-old Shih Tzu crosses. They still need to be neutered and to get their rabies vaccination. They are definitely puppies. They have lots of energy. They always want to be on the go. They are very social dogs. They've gotten along really well with the other dogs we've introduced them to and the other cats. So I think they would do really well in a home that had other animals.
And this is Addison, right?
Yes, she is an 8-month-old domestic shorthair. She's already spayed and microchipped, so she is ready to go to the right home. She is very energetic. She has lots of energy, likes to play all the time. She seems to be fairly social with other cats as well, so I think she would do good in a home with other animals or if she was on her own.
Jennifer, you wanted to talk a little bit about your comedy cabaret coming up?
Yes, it is coming up Friday, May 13th. It's held at the Stockade Convention Center. We have 3 different comedians, appetizers. It's going to be a great event. Right now, we're looking for silent auction donations. So if you do have a silent auction item that you would like to donate to the SPCA, we would really, really enjoy that. Or if you're interested in corporate tables, please give myself a call, 780-214-7722.
Perfect, and thanks for joining us on this week's Pet Project. Make sure to tune in next week.
The Pet Project is sponsored by Quick Pick Waste Disposal. Locally owned and operated and serving urban, rural, and industrial customers in Lloydminster and region.